This is Ryan Nickel with the Day in the Life of a Real Estate Investor, and this is Bootstrap REI. And so this is episode number 23, and I got us here with a special guest, my beautiful and charming wife, Christina. So anyway, we've been going back and forth on this particular house that we picked up in Oroville. And so here's the dilemma that I have. I can't, quote unquote, legally sell the property because there's a second mortgage on it with the city, and the city hasn't done much with it as far as like telling me that they're going to come and like foreclose on the property, but I can't legally sell it because I know that there's that that debt and that clause in the debt that says that they could foreclose on it. But anyway, so I thought about putting it into a rental property, and Christina has some concerns. What are those concerns?
So, should I talk to you or you?
You can talk to either one.
Okay. So I had some concerns just because we've got 4 kids at home. I didn't want him to turn into a landlord in a property that's 45 minutes away and have to deal with, oh, my toilet's busted, oh, you know, the roof fell off, or whatever. Whatever.
And
the
that
case
won't happen
might be.
because it's a brand new roof.
Okay,
still.
well, or windows break or something. So I didn't want him to have to deal with landlord issues. And on top of that, people coming in as renters, the mindset's different. They don't take as good a care of the property as someone who might be owning the house someday. And I worry about this particular couple being able to meet their financial obligations every month, and you know, just getting sob stories like, oh, you know, man, I was supposed to work this job and it just didn't happen. I'm sorry, I don't have the money. Didn't want that to happen either.
See, she knows I have a soft heart, and I like fall for. I'm a sucker when it comes to that. I'm like, oh, okay, all right,
yeah,
I'll pay the mortgage for you.
he takes all the sob stories.
Right.
So I know one thing he's working on is not tolerating that kind of stuff. I don't know if he said that on here, but
we actually talked about that yesterday. Some of the things that I didn't tolerate, like I showed them my wall of tolerations, wall that I no longer tolerate. You can see. What number is it? Number 3. Check that out. Not directly confronting late payments. I will no longer tolerate that. So,
trying to help him avoid having to tolerate that, and not, you know, I don't want him to give up on that stuff. So,
this is why I married up totally. But even though she's shorter
even
than
though
me.
I'm shorter,
Yeah.
he did marry up. There we go. That's how it should be. So I am often the voice of reason for him, and
It's that or I sleep on the couch. So.
And when was the last time you did that?
I said, listen.
So that's, you know, woman's perspective and spouse's perspective and business partner perspective.
But you see, you know what? Like my favorite line from like My Big Fat Greek Wedding. You're like, you see a man.
You see, the
So,
man is the head of the family, but the woman is the neck.
No, that is not my favorite
I turn
line.
him.
So anyway, I got a great solution here. So part of the concern is, and she probably didn't, you know, we haven't told you about this whole thing. So this family that I found, I sold him a trailer early on last year sometime. He's having difficulty with it because he doesn't qualify to live in it. His mom was going to move into it. He fixed it up, bought it. So he bought it for like $3,500 cash, put $1,500 into it, and realized his mom couldn't qualify, even though he thought that because she was disabled that she would, because it's a 55 and older community, and she's only 54, and they wouldn't make an exception for her. So with that, he's been evicted from it, and they are, you know, it's not move-in ready quite yet. So he's supposedly, I mean, I've been to the place a couple of times, but supposedly they're living in a motel trying to fix it up so they can sell it. But now he got this notice from the park saying, look, no on-site sale. You have to move it off property in order to sell it, and he doesn't have the cash to do that, nor nowhere to move it to. So anyway, he has a dilemma, and so I told Christina, I was like, hey, this is the guy that I'm gonna, you know, lease it to, but he can't come up with $250 for like the deposit money to come in. She's like, well, that's a huge concern. So
If he's having a hard enough time with that, you know, you don't want to get to the beginning of the month and have worries like, oh man, I just can't make rent this month, and
yeah,
don't want to have to deal with that.
They're low income as well. His wife's on a government grant program. The grant program will pay the first month's rent and the deposit. So the month's rent is $900. The deposit's $1,800. I'm like, oh, it's guaranteed income for 1 month, and then, you know, that's it. And again, her concern is, don't be a sucker for the easy money, and then they bounce out of here. So I've had this conversation like, look, you can't afford the deposit, and what's going to happen in 2 weeks when you need to make this rent? And again, it was a sob story, like, oh man, we're in this. It's actually not a sob story. He's not like crying to me. He's just like, hey man, this is what we got going on. I'm in motels. I'm trying to move this back and forth so I can get my money back out of this deal. I'm probably going to end up losing it. We're appealing it right now. They're going to a higher court, and that's one concern for me is that, oh, this guy likes to fight in court. So I'm like, if I have to evict this guy, I don't want him to be like, yeah, we're going to court, guys.
Yeah.
So but that's one of the concerns that I had. So anyway, I was getting ready to take my nap here. I take naps every day after lunch.
I already did.
Yeah, I did already.
Oh.
So no, I was getting ready to take my nap, and the idea came to me like, well, if her biggest concern is not to be a landlord, because I don't want to be a landlord. I suck at it. I really do. I mean, I've done it before. It sucks. It's really bad. That's why I sell all my properties seller finance. Just get rid of them. Just make sure that all the maintenance, repairs, and upkeep is on the onus of the person that's moving in. So my thought was, well, I'm just going to lease option this home. And if I lease option, it's a lease with the option to purchase it. They know the situation with the city, so there's nothing there. I can't sell it to them until I clear that up with the city. So I can say, hey, you can lease this, but you can have the option to lease it at this price. And but here's the moral dilemma that we were just talking about before we got on camera was what? The money.
Them not being able to pay?
No, not so much that. I think they will be able to. I mean, I think this guy probably he deals drugs, so he'll probably be able to make some money. Is the county is putting them in for a lease program, or just like for rent, not a rent to own, but like a rent program. So they have a deposit, and then they have the monthly payment, and then it's all shaky. My arms are getting all tired.
Would you like me to help you?
Oh sure.
Weakling.
So the challenge that I have though is the moral dilemma. Like, do I take this $1,800 deposit and use it as a down payment towards this house and for the lease option? And I really don't have for me, I don't do that. That's not that morally I have an issue on that one. So, but I talked to the caseworker yesterday, and she said this is just to help them get into a house. What they do with the house after they're in for that first month that we've given them the assistance, that's up to you. It's between you and the landlord. So between them and the landlord. She's talking to me as the landlord. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get them in, and then I'm going to go ahead and convert the lease to a lease option, and then I'm going to give them their deposit back because it's their deposit, and then they can go ahead and choose to at that time to lease the house with option to purchase, and they can use that money towards the option payment, and then of course pay more money towards the option. It needs some work as it is already. He's already purchased the paint. He's taken some of his materials from his mobile home that he was working on. He's going to fix the bathroom, the floors, and things like that. So I feel very confident between the two that that's a good situation. And the reason I wanted to bring this on is there's decisions to be made, and there's also consequences. So we're taking a risk, so there could be unintended consequences, but also in me trying to understand, what her concerns are, what my concerns are, what the concerns are of the person that's moving in. I think that we found a better solution, because I was going to just be a landlord, and I don't want to do that. That just sucks. Mm-hmm. And with the help of my wife, she's helped me to see that that's just a stupid idea. But I think we've come to a mutual agreement that it's actually a better idea to get them in the property and then can roll that over into a lease option the following month once that their county obligation has been satisfied, and I think we'll go that way. So anyway, any last words?
No, that's it.
This is what happens. It's not pretty, it's not ugly, but it also is like you got to think this stuff through. And this is a day in the life of a real estate investor. We were actually sitting at the table having lunch, and I told my wife what I was going to do moving forward with this, and she told me, no, don't do it that way. And it just was like rolling around my head, so I actually take naps on my floor. And there's my pillow. I just throw that thing down, take a nap, and like I said, right before I lay down, just the idea came like lease option. Just do a lease option.
Listen to your wife is what came to him.
Oh yeah, listen to this beautiful face right here. So anyway, I'm Ryan Nickel with special guest Christina.
Maybe I'll come back sometime.
Maybe she will, when she has money to spend. And this is the day in the life of a real estate investor. Actually, she has plenty of money to spend.